Yeah.
What about you?
I am recently single.
Recently single?
Yeah.
How recently?
Like, if we've been like on and off kind of trying to do the breakup, but like I would say officially like a month and a half.
Okay. That's
Longest relationship
longest
was like
relationship?
3.5, almost 4 years.
3 to 4 years. Okay. And you provided some pre-show notes here. I'm just going to go through them really quick. So you said 2 out of your 3 of your serious relationships came from Tinder.
I did.
Dating app. Okay.
Yeah.
You also did a challenge that you did 50 dates in 50 days with 50 different guys.
That was the attempt, yeah. So I didn't start dating until I was 19. I was homeschooled for most of my life, so I graduated early, and then I was in college at like a very young age, so I was like, I legally can't date anyone for a while. And then once everyone kind of called me a prude, so I was like, screw it, I'm gonna see what's out there. And I was like, I'm go big or go home. So I was like, I'm gonna go on 50 dates in 50 days with 50 different guys. And so my longest relationship was date 14 on the first attempt, and then we were together for almost 4 years, and then we broke up very viciously. And then I was like, might as well finish it. So I was like, I'll try and keep going. And then my next relationship was date number 9. And then that ended. He got deported. He's the one from Norway. He got deported, funny enough.
No.
So
Did he overstay his visa?
Take his ass.
No, yeah, exactly. He had to go. But,
Oh, man.
and then last relationship was a friend that
So
turned into
this whole 50 dates, 50 days, 50 different guys. So the first one, 14 dates in. Now, so what you're saying is, prior to finding your relationship from date 14, you went on 14 dates with 14 different guys within that 2-week period before meeting him.
Yeah.
So you went on a date with
Every
a new
single
guy
day.
every single day without miss.
Without miss. One day I even went on 2 dates in one day.
Okay. And then just a question though. So date 14, did you know, like, so you had the first date, did you, like, you knew right away?
Yeah. After our date, I got in my car and I was like, I could marry this guy. And then I said, that's a weird thought. And then I was like, I really like this one.
And then did you cut it off with?
I had 2 more weeks lined up and I cut all the guys off.
So, you had 2 more dates lined up?
No, I had 2 weeks upcoming.
You had 2 weeks upcoming.
Yeah.
You pre-booked.
I pre-booked.
2 weeks, and you cut them all off.
I cut them all
What
off.
about the previous 14 guys?
I ghosted them.
You ghosted them?
Yeah, I really liked this one.
Okay, and then you did that. Then you broke up with that guy, and then you did this again, but you only got to date 9.
Yep.
So then you had 9 dates in a row.
Yep.
And then again, your most recent relationship, I guess, 12 dates in a row.
I went on 12 dates, and dating in the Bay is very different than down here. And
Sure.
I told myself I wasn't allowed to date for 6 months, and I kind of like put myself, because I'm a serial monogamous. I've been in relationships for, I think, the past 9 years altogether, except for those little stints.
Sure.
And I highly recommend women do it because
you recommend women do what you did?
Yes. So reason being is because I feel like a lot of women are picky and they don't give a lot of guys a chance. So if you have to book it out, you have to actually give people a chance, and I think that would be good for women. So.
Are you really giving men a chance though if you're dating 14 of them in a 2-week period?
You're giving guys a chance that you never would have talked to. And then if you find, like, the guy I ended up in a relationship with is someone I never thought I would ever actually date. Like, he was not someone who, like, in the profile, I thought he was cool, but I didn't actually, I didn't know until I went on the date. Huh?
You weren't physically attracted to him?
He was a very attractive guy. He's just not my typical type.
Well, if he attractive, that right there.
I mean, all the guys were attractive. It was, I mean, in their own ways, but I mean, you couldn't go on dates with guys. He was a little, he was very, I don't really go for blondes, and he was a blonde, so.
Well, okay, so you, the first time you tried this, you were able to secure 14 dates with 14 different guys in a 14-day period.
Yep.
And it sounded like one of the days you did 2 dates.
In one day.
Have you ever done 3 dates in one day?
No, that's too much.
Have you done, was it just one time you did 2 dates in one day, or have you done that a couple times?
I've only done it once.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I mean, the first thing I would say to that is women have dating on easy mode.
I agree.
Women absolutely have dating on easy mode.
Even I can never get
Like,
50 dates in a week.
Bro,
Or 50
like,
days.
I mean, 50 dates in a week.
She pre-scheduled for like an average guy is what, lucky to get one date in a month or something?
Two.
Yeah.
Two?
2 in a month.
Yeah, women have dating on easy mode. That's, I mean, look, I know it's not a shock to me, but it's like, yeah, you got that shit on easy mode.
But I would like to say, also the dates weren't like I was getting free meals every time.
I have
or
a question. Do you
anything
have
like
a brother?
Don't.
You don't have any siblings?
I have half and step.
Half and step?
Yeah, my dad's on his 3rd marriage, so.
Good times.
Messy.
So, you have a half brother?
No, half sisters.
Oh, okay, never mind. Let's see. You said in your messages to us, I hear stories of women getting the red carpet brought for them on the first date. I feel like I'm lucky if a guy will pay for a meal for me in the Bay. Don't get me wrong, I've had some amazing dates, but men in the Bay have no clue how to date.
I agree.
So you want a guy to pay for the first date? Is that?
I would like that.
You want them to?
And it also doesn't have to be dinner. Like, I'm totally down for coffee or like ice cream.
But you'd want
like,
them to pay in that?
I would love the offer. I had a guy one
Okay.
time on a date for a coffee date, walk up in line. It was Starbucks. He goes, "Oh, I forgot my wallet." Walked back to the door. I have no problem paying for my own meal. That's perfectly fine, or my own coffee. I paid. Yeah. He walked right back to me and goes, "I do this so I don't have to pay for girls' stuff."
Okay. So.
Ew.
Hold on. So the 14 day. Hold on. I lost my train of thought. 14 dates.
It's a lot. It's very hard.
I remember. Would you tell the guys that you were doing this?
No, but I mean, everyone's casually dating, so it's.
Yeah, but most guys don't. Most guys are not, and frankly, most men don't have the capability to go on a date every single day of the week.
At all.
It's
like, a lot of work.
I'd say even like really attractive guys. I'd say guys even more attractive like than your looks equivalent. It's like, it's not gonna be that easy to schedule a date every single day of the week. Because guys, like if you make yourself available to them, I'm free this day, they're gonna take that opportunity. Whereas women are typically not as flexible with.
Yeah, I mean, but like I said, I also did it because it made me. It forced me to give multiple, like different types of people a chance that maybe typically
sure, that's fine.
Different races, different ethnicity, all that.
And so,
like different ages too.
Sure, but what you did, and I get flack for this. What you did is actually one of my arguments for why I think men should not pay for first dates. Because I don't want to feel like a sucker. I'm going on a date with you, and you just went on 10 dates in the past 10 days with 10 different men. Oh, you said you went on 2 dates in the night, so I'm going to go on a date with you, and then afterwards you have a date with another guy. Yeah, I'm going to feel a certain type of way about that.
Absolutely,
so like this expectation of traditional treatment, when you have so many options and you're dating so many people, it's like, I'm not going to pay for you.
Well, and
I'm not going to be traditional when, like, it's. I get that we wouldn't be exclusive, mm-hmm. But if I went on a first date with a chick and she saw a guy after me, you're not getting any traditional treatment.
Well, like I said, you can go on the date, and I actually am all for like going out and doing things that don't cost little to no money. Going
even
to hike,
if it's free.
Like you
Honestly,
can go on a hike. I think that's a nice thing to do.
If I knew this going into the date, somehow I became privy to the fact that you were dating multiple dudes, even if there was no expectation that I was going to pay, I would just cancel on you. I wouldn't go on a date with you. If I found out this chick was dating this many dudes, goodbye. They can have you.
But if it's just a date, then why? Like if you're not like sleeping around,
it doesn't matter.
I mean,
it's just
you're
like,
just getting to know people.
Yeah. I feel like it's different if you're actually like building something with this person. And like
especially if it's a first
like a girl
date.
that's properly single and that's not talking to 50 other dudes.
I concur.
But
not only had she been on 14 dates prior, probably still texting with them, she had a date planned out for the next 14 days. So let's say I had a genuine interest in her. I wanted to set up a second date. Oh, you're booked up for 2 weeks. Fuck out of here. I'm not dealing with that. I'm gonna find a girl that's properly single, and then I'm gonna talk to her.
But it's also like you're meeting these people on a dating app, and you're just meeting with like if it's your first meeting, like you didn't.
Oh, she's free
before,
to do
right?
it.
It was your first time, like you're just getting to know them. Like
That's
when
great.
I go like on date, like when I was on a dating app and I would go on like dates, like it wasn't even like really a date. It was just like, hey, I'm meeting you in person.
you're free to move in that way, but what I'm saying is,
I kind
if
of
I knew
understand
as a
what
guy,
you're saying, but like if it's just a date, like you're just getting coffee or lunch or something, then I kind of understand like why you say like you wouldn't want to pay. Like, okay, fair. I think
I don't even want to go on the date anymore.
Exactly, but that's the part that I don't understand, because like not paying, like, okay, I get it. It would set you apart though. And then she might want to go on another date with you, but
from the 14, the 30 other men she's going on a date on.
Because if all the guys have like the same mindset and they don't pay, like she was saying, like this guy like went out to his car to grab his wallet so that he wouldn't have to pay.
What happened to the days
it's like
of like liking the person and you both like
it's
each
hard.
other?
They have to
Even for women.
Put it this way. No, here's the thing. It's really hard to find someone that you actually like. And if you are a woman who's career oriented or you focus on school, I would love to know how you're supposed to meet someone if they're not in your immediate proximity. And I'm not dating someone that I work with.
I
personally.
think it's personal reference though.
Yeah.
Like,
but
I
here's the
wouldn't want to
question.
be with the guy who's like going on dates personally.
But here's the thing. You could also go on a date with a guy who's sleeping with 3 different women. Why would you be more okay with that and not to have him actually going to go meet someone and genuinely find someone? As soon as I found someone that I was like, this guy's great, I have no desire to even talk to these other men. And out of respect, I wasn't exclusive with him. It's one date. But at the same time, it was something where if I saw that there was actual potential, I cut it all off. And I have no problems doing that too.
If I was that guy who really liked you and I knew that you had...
He felt flattered. He honestly, when we actually were in a relationship, I said, as soon as I met you, I cut it off with every other guy. I think it's out of respect, and it makes a man feel more special. If you know she had options and she chose you and you chose her, even after the first date, you knew there was potential. There's difference of that. If you're going out on a date with someone and you're hooking up or you're doing whatever you want to do, that's perfectly fine, but that's your choice. But if you're just going to go get to know people, if someone's actually looking for a relationship and they want to meet someone, like, by all means, why should you waste your time going on? I think it's mean when a girl leads a guy on for so long. You go on 7 dates and the guy's paid for everything. I think that's messed up, and the girl knows it's not going anywhere, or the guy's just trying to hook up with the girl. Like, I don't think it's bad if you actually say, hey, I'm looking for something, and if you're giving people a shot. And I think that's a big thing. Is like our date ended up being like 6 hours long, and it was just because we wanted to talk and we got to know each other and we really found each other intriguing, and he's very articulate.
Look. So just to bring it back to what I was talking about. So originally what I was saying is, in that situation, I would not want to pay for the first date. I wouldn't even want to go out. I wouldn't even bother going out with a girl who's doing that. You're kind of gamifying courtship and dating. I get it. But, and you might say, well, you're single. You don't owe it to a guy to only be talking to him. Personally, I think it's actually very easy to date just one person at a time, but
I only date. I like I said, I cut it off.
No, but you went.
There's a difference between
dates.
going on first dates and dating around. Like if you're going on multiple dates with multiple people, there's a difference than going on first date. Because you went on a date and then that was it, and then you knew, and then you knew whether you want to go on another date or not, right?
Did you kiss any of those guys on the first date?
A few of them.
Yeah, exactly.
But in my defense, one of them, it wasn't by choice on some of them. One guy like picked me up and put me upside down and kissed me. It was very awkward.
Okay, all right. I'll just say, like, look, you don't owe it to a guy to only be talking to him, and we as men, we don't owe it to you to adhere to outdated, unfair gender roles like paying for the first date. You can get your own ride. You can open your own door. You can pay for your own meal. And if you're going to be entertaining dozens of other men while you're talking to us, then out the window goes traditional gender roles.
So can I ask on this part, when you're saying talking to someone, I don't really, if you're on a dating app, I think it's nicer to meet people as soon as you can in person. Like, yeah, you can have cordial conversation. There's some people who will spend weeks talking to someone and then they meet them and feel like, hey, there's no real chemistry, or, they're really good at texting, but, in person, they're not that very articulate, or they're not that comfortable.
Sure.
Like you're able to portray a different mask of who you are, I guess you can say, through text. I meet people, we match, I say, hey, are you free this day? They say, yeah, and that's as quick as it is. So it's not like they've invested weeks of conversation or that. I think that's messed up. But if you said, hey, right, I think you're attractive, you think I'm attractive, I think we have really good banter, I thought your profile was cool, do you want to meet next Thursday? I feel like most guys would actually prefer a girl who does that versus investing all this time texting, and you find out she's dating other people, you meet her in person, and then she's like, hey, I'm not really feeling it, and you're like, damn it, I've been talking to this girl for like 2 weeks.
You can meet up relatively quickly and still not be dating like 20 other men at the same time.
Is your issue that she had like the 2 weeks like pre-scheduled, or that she was going on dates every day?
The whole thing just makes me uncomfortable. The whole fucking thing is uncomfortable.
Is it because you can only get 2 dates a month? Is that why? Is it because you're jealous that women have it on easy mode?
I think it's
no. It has
normal.
nothing to do with jealousy. That's just not a woman that I want to associate with.
That's personal reference too. Yeah. Everybody has different references.
Right, and if everyone has different opinions, like you can totally respect someone's preference to not want to date somebody who's dating around with multiple people. Like dating around with multiple people is really simple. It just means you're going out with multiple people, and a lot of men like Brian don't want a girl that goes on multiple dates, but some guys don't care.
I'm just trying to like understand, like if she's just meeting with people, like she's not like hoeing around, so to speak, like she's not sleeping around, whatever, she's just meeting people, talking to them, like she's not even like emotionally invested at that point, she's just getting to know them. I'm just trying to like understand. I don't know.
Let me try to put it this way. Let's say, because I don't really have an interest in one night stands or just fucking a girl once and maybe stringing her along a bit. I'm dating, like if I'm pursuing a girl, let's say we do hook up, I want there to be continuity, I want to continue seeing her, I want it to, maybe it leads to a long-term relationship. So my issue would be, if this is going to be my future girlfriend, if this is going to be my future wife, if this is going to be my future mother of my children, I'm going to feel a very strong type of way if I found out that the first time I met her, the first date I had with her,
Getting passionate there.
She was on after her date with me, she went on a date with another guy. That to me is just kind of fucking scummy. I don't know what to say.
Wait, but I think that's different. When you went on a date with somebody that you actually liked, then you wouldn't go on another date with a different guy, right?
No, when I saw potential, I cut off all future dates because I out of respect to him, I don't want to keep doing that.
No, right, but okay.
So it was just before, like if this was like your future wife and you were like married or what, or you're the mother of your children, and you found out that she was, she had like 14 days of dating. You were the 14th guy, but after you, she didn't see anyone. What does it matter? Like if she, like I understand like body count, but this is different. Like it's not a body count. It's just she's meeting people.
So she gave an example of where in one day she went on a date with 2 different men. That's like, to me, it's like, what's going on here?
But if you were interested in the first guy,
I'm trying to find a long-term relationship.
Okay, so if you went on, so one day you went on a date with 2 guys on the same day. Yeah. If the first one you felt some kind of way for, would you have broken off the second one the same day?
Yes.
Okay. Let's say, for example, well, first off, I would say that while she might have broken it off with all those other guys, she may have there might have been some other contenders. Were there some other contenders? Or all 13 of those guys were just no-goes?
There was like 1 or 2 that like I was like, okay, I could see going on a second date, maybe that kind of thing.
Let's say you
like
didn't, let's say you didn't meet the guy who you were like, whoa, this is the one, okay, I'm cutting everybody else off. But there were a couple that you wanted to continue seeing, maybe second date, right? Okay, so you go on a second date with them, and then eventually it maybe leads to something more long-term with those guys. I mean, the whole time I'm seeing you, I'm going on dates with you, whatever, you're talking to other guys, who knows what else you're doing. You're saying you're not doing anything else with them.
I'm not, no.
Maybe you move that way, but a lot of people don't move that way. So
agreed.
I just would feel, I'd feel a certain type of way about that. I would.
And I respect that, but it's also one of those things like, would you argue that if men had the option to do that, they would do that? Because I think most of the men that I know, and I primarily work with men, would love that. I see it from they would love to go on 14 different dates.
Men don't have the capability of doing that.
But the argument could be that if a woman has to be more open, she's going to give other guys a shot, and she could potentially meet someone. So I agree. I see girls, and I admittedly in the same way of like, if you're on a dating app, you swipe, and it kind of gives you like a fun left right kind of thing of what you're doing, and you put everyone to basically a picture and a profile. That's all it is. If women said, okay, I'm going to go on, let's make it more tame. Let's say 5 dates this month. Whether or not I have actually liked someone, I have to give more men a shot. And I think that actually works in men's favor. Because if a woman is going to say, okay, I have to go on, like I said, typically a lot of the guys that message, obviously they would have to be respectful in their comments. Or
Rippin Lips donated $100. What do you all think about Donald Trump? Is he a misogynist? Would you vote for him?
Okay, thank you, Rippin' Lips. We can only do one question per TTS, so would you vote for Donald Trump? We'll do that one.
Never. Oh, that's it? Okay.
No.
No.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't really get into
Nick.
politics.
Huh?
I don't really get into politics just because I think it's a lot of time, and so I just don't vote in general.
Okay, there you have it. Thank you, Rippin' Lips. Okay, I'm trying to think. Look, ultimately, I'm probably most guys don't mind, right? Most guys, okay, whatever.
But wait, can I say, if more women gave other guys a shot that wasn't their typical type or whatever, ridiculous.
So you're doing them a favor? That's even worse. Oh,
no,
she's giving me a favor.
It's not a favor. I'm just saying, it's not even a favor. It's saying women can't be as picky, which I think is a good thing. Because like I said, nothing about my ex. I thought he was a great guy and he was one of those things. But if I just saw his profile, he had it was fine. It wasn't anything that really stood out. Physically, he wasn't my initial attractive type, but once I met him and I got to know him, I'm a sapiosexual. So as soon as I get to know someone, if we can have a really good conversation, I found myself very attracted to him.
Okay. So you more so mean dismissive, because you were still picky. I mean, at the end of the day, it ended up being 2 out of 50.
Yeah, dismissive might be the way.
So dismissive. So a lot of women, when they see profiles, they dismiss men on all kinds of parameters. And then
you could also argue that men, I mean, depending on the guy, a lot of guys are still picky, even if they say aren't the creme de la creme.
So, I mean, but your motivation was simply to be more open to the idea.
Yeah, open to it. Because it challenged me to actually say, okay, everyone has like what they're naturally attracted to. Can I venture out of that? And he was someone that was outside of that.
She's just being open, Brian.
She's open.
Yeah. Would you guys rather have somebody who's dismissive?
I wouldn't know. I would be dismissed.
I mean, that's a good point, but like in general, like, would you rather have women be more dismissive or dating more guys?
It's a bias, because if she's dating me, then yeah, I would want her to be dismissive. But if I'm the one, if I want to be seen by her, then I would want her to give me a chance.
Yeah, but so how do I say it? It's like, would you rather the scenario where a girl looks at your profile and she's dismissive and she's like, oh no, or she gives you a chance and then, maybe you guys really hit it off, and like she said, that guy that you were actually interested in, like, you never thought that you'd be interested in him. So maybe it's the same way. Maybe she's like really into you and she just never would have thought based on your profile.
Well, I mean, again, that's a bias, because if it's me, we talking about me, then yeah, I'm pretty sure I can charm any woman. But if it's somebody else, I might be more self-aware to know that this woman's not gonna like me. But like, there are a lot of guys who understanding just how selective women are. Women are extremely selective. Y'all all know y'all are extremely selective. So women dismiss men. Women have a million turnoffs. So once one of those.
The offender donated $99. The reason most men don't like when a woman has multiple dates lined up is that if Brian, for example, is the 14th dude in line, he would have to wait for the date, and it's not a guarantee that the woman likes him. It's a waste of time and money for men.
So you'd rather have dismissive?
I'd rather just, like, if a girl told me, by the way, Brian, I just had 5 dates this week. I've got 5. I was on a date with a girl who was totally unremarkable. Not like, and she told me, she just downloaded Hinge. She'd already been on 3 dates. She had 2 dates planned for the weekend, and I just lost all interest. I mean, I appreciate her telling me, but I'm like, they can have you. That's my thought process. Look, I get it.
But they don't have you. Like, it's just a date.
Right, but if you're talking to that other dude's, like, for me, like, I just don't want to deal with that.
It's the principle.
Like, I don't want to. Okay.
So what's the principle?
Your attention is divided. You're not, like, if you were. I know you said you're not sleeping with all these guys, but it's kind of like the same principle as when it comes to body count. If you're fucking 5 other dudes and you're trying to sleep with me, it's like, fuck no, I don't even want to have sex with you. I don't want anything from you.
then I respect that. I think that's perfect.
But it's almost the same thing. With body count, your sexual attention is divided. With going on this many dates, your romantic attention is divided. I don't just want your sexual attention. I want your romantic attention. I want your emotional attention. And if you're talking to 14 other guys, to me, to some degree, it's for example, I would think if I went on a date with a girl and she found out that I went on a date with 2 other girls that night, I would see how she might feel a little off by that. She might feel a little disrespected.
So here's another question though. Don't you think that a lot of women would actually, to be honest, be kind of attracted to that because you're a guy who's in demand?
Well, that's a fair point. There is a differential there between men and women because I think women typically are. How do I articulate this? Q, you got something for this? I have a thought on this, but I feel like you might.
I'm trying to understand what you're saying. So if you could describe it.
Well, she's saying well, for me, for example, it would be it will certainly be a turn off if a girl was sleeping with other men or dating other men. Mm-hmm. But some women might view a guy who's getting with other women as more desirable because women like pre-selection.
Because it signals to other women that this guy has things that women desire. And if you don't feel special at the end of the day, if you and I were to go on a date and I went on 2-3 dates prior and you felt some type of way, I could easily talk my way out of that. I could easily explain to you, you're different. I see you different. I'm a guy. I have less options. I have less opportunities. So I have to take advantage of my opportunities. You're more selective. You can afford to dismiss guys. You can afford to tell guys, I don't really, you can afford to do that. Me, you can understand. He's just being a guy. And at the end of the day, women are still wired to know men are just being men. So, we can compartmentalize, we can compartmentalize sex and emotion. We can compartmentalize, liking a woman but not wanting to be with her. So all of these things still leave the door open for you to understand that you have a shot. Whereas with guys, what Brian is saying is he's much more serious about the way he approaches dating. So because he's much more serious about the way he approaches dating, when he sees a woman that does things like go on multiple dates, he don't know if he can take her seriously because that by default is showing that her strategy for dating is basically bullshitting. That's what he's saying.
Yes. That's awesome. Pretty much what
Ryan, that's a good point, but that's why I feel like you don't tell somebody on a first date that you've just gone on 13 other dates with guys until you're in a serious relationship, and then maybe if it comes up, you're like, oh, by the way,
that's a breakup. Yeah. Goodbye.
I don't know. I feel like that.
I feel like he was flattered. If you've been dating for like 2 years, yep. I mean, if it was before you, or if they ask you, anyway. But no, I see your point now. I mean, if I knew that a guy, if I was like his third date that day, it would be a turn off. But if we had been dating for like 2 years, whatever, we're serious, and he goes, oh, by the way, I was on this dating app, I was seeing a bunch of girls, but I picked you, I would feel like flattered. I'd be like,
exactly,
like, right? Like,
well, also one thing that I'd like to clarify.
I feel special.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off. One thing I would like to clarify is, I get as far as the romantic attention. I agree with that. But if you're just matching with someone and you set a date right then and there, you have not romantically invested anything in me.
Exactly.
I haven't romantically invested anything in you. When we meet in person is going to be the first time we actually both invest time, and I think that's a fair piece. I think it's personally, I think it's the whole texting back and forth, seeing what they're going to say, waiting the 3 hours or whatever, because I see some people, they're like, I don't want to seem too available or too needy. It takes a lot of time.
It's a waste
But if
of time.
you're like, hey, we matched. I think you're cute. I like something about your profile. I verbalized that. Are you free tomorrow at 4 for coffee? I feel like that's a fair investment. Neither of you have done it.
The last thing I want to add to that is that it's really hard to get to know someone on a dating app unless you see them in person. So
I'm not opposed to meeting in person. I'm not. My argument is.
So what if a girl was meeting?
It's the frequency with which you are meeting.
What if it wasn't a date? Huh? What if you didn't call it a date?
No, I don't think I think you're failing to. Also, I don't have an issue. Like I don't object. It's not like you have to. I actually agree that you should not spend weeks on end being a pen pal with someone. I think you should meet up fairly quickly. Mm-hmm. What I object to is how many dates you were going on. First off, I don't know how you have the fucking time to do that.
I don't sleep. I do it all throughout the day. Or like.
Were you unemployed?
No, I would do it on my lunch breaks. On my lunch breaks, I would. Yeah, it could be a 15-minute date. It doesn't have to be 3 hours.
You're not
or
wasting
whatever.
time.
Some days it was like.
I mean, both gotta eat, right? Like.
Okay, Why 50?
I don't know. I just came up with a number.
wanted
I'm an
to-
extremist,
she was
so I was like, might
gamifying.
as well. Well, because here's the thing too. If you actually have to, I'm sure it came from the movie, to be honest. The 50
first
dates,
dates.
Like I think
50,
it's something
wait,
real.
that he went on. He kept having the same date with the same woman.
No, I haven't seen the movie. I just heard the number.
No, she had like amnesia. I'm pretty sure.
I haven't seen it, so I
Adam
don't know.
Sandler, right?
The numbers
She
the
had
same.
amnesia.
She had short-term memory loss.
She had some amnesia or some shit.
'Cause she
So he
got
went
into
on
a
50
crash.
dates with the same chick. Hello?
I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know.
I think
but I
that's
think
the-
that's where
is
the
that the-
inspiration
is that-
came from. I think that's where it came from.
That's like the hoe version of that movie. Okay.
I see your point.
But-
I'm just saying, like, it's very easy to be dismissive, see something on someone's profile, and think like, oh, I'm not going to waste my time with them. Versus if you meet in person, then you can't really get to know someone online just based on their profile. So
But
if you give them a
that's not
chance,
what I'm arguing.
what are we supposed to do? Like, be like super picky or dismissive or whatever? Like, if you get matched with like, I don't know, 100 guys in a day, then and you're sitting there like super dismissive, like, no, not this one, then like, no one gets any chance. But she's
I
just
would say
open.
be even more selective then. Only go on the dates.
I mean, I personally like I'm very
You also
like
do
picky
this?
on dating.
You also
no,
do this?
I'm very picky on
20
dating
20
apps.
dates in 3
Like
weeks?
I understand what she's like. No, I'm very picky. I understand what she's saying, and I think like, oh, that's good. Like, you're being open. Like me, I'm super picky. So if I see like one thing in your profile that's off to me, like it doesn't even have to be like a red flag. I'm just like, I don't like that.
Exactly.
Because
No,
I don't want
that's cool.
personally,
That's
I don't
cool.
want to
That's
waste my
cool.
time if I don't think that it's going to lead anywhere. But like she was saying, like you never know, because you might meet somebody and you might think like, oh, I never thought it. I mean, that was me with my ex. Like like he was not my type at all. I never thought I would have like dated someone like that, and
That's
ended up
cool.
dating
Look,
someone.
ultimately, I'm just saying, for me personally, maybe there's a bunch of men out there, they wouldn't mind if they were date number 22 in your game that you're playing, but I would not appreciate
That's fair.
my someone I'm going on a date with having, look, you don't owe me anything, right? If you want to go on 3 dates yesterday and the day before and sleep with a bunch of men, that's fine. That's your call. I'm not, and I know you weren't doing that. But I'm also free to have a standard, a preference, and a boundary of not wanting to date a woman who is moving and operating in that way. Some men might not care. Some men might even be like, ooh, competition. Okay, I want to be the winner. Cool. That's fine. Me personally, I'm just going to opt out. I don't want to date. I don't want to be involved with a woman who's gamifying like that and who's dating that many men.
Yeah, I mean, you was essentially playing the Bachelorette, in a sense. And honestly, I was offered to be on the Bachelorette. I would never.
Which
no.
season?
It was 2 years ago, so I would never.
That dynamic is just like, okay, it's.
So-
I don't want that dynamic.
So here's the question, because if you haven't met these people, let's say that you're trying to find someone, you're
Sure.
trying to date, you're trying to find a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
What is an acceptable amount to you? Because again, if you go on
I
a
don't think
first,
you're gonna like my answer to this. But
you want to date one guy at a time, like, and
well, I don't think it's that hard to date one person at a time. But I mean, well, my joke answer would
But to
be
meet them.
My joke answer should be before she even became aware of my presence on this earthly plane, she has to have committed herself to me. No, I'm being a bit
she
facetious.
watches
We
the
all say
podcast
that.
and she's
But-
like, one day.
But she has to have been celibate for 2 years before she even knew me. Basically, that's my joke answer. But no, I think be properly single when you're dating.
What
So
what does
what does that
properly
mean?
single mean?
Don't be currently fucking anybody, and don't be.
But she's not.
No.
She wasn't.
I wasn't
in her
doing any of
scenario.
that. It's a first date.
No
so.
penis in and around the mouth either.
Yeah,
and
Agreed.
none of that.
I
Yeah.
didn't do any of that.
That's cool. Also, just don't be dating like 14 guys in like the past 14 days. That's
But
also
so is
not like,
but is it acceptable if a girl goes on a date once a week?
I was gonna say, what if
Like,
what if
what's
someone
the
had a
number?
date with you?
Yeah.
It's
What
a
if she scheduled
scale.
the dates
It's-
on the day
It's a
of?
spectrum. It is a spectrum, okay? So it's a spectrum. Like one date a week. Yeah, I don't know. It's still a little. I'm raising an eyebrow there. Is it a total deal breaker? Maybe, maybe not. Would it be preferable if it was once a month? Yeah, it'd be preferable. Would it be preferable if it was once a quarter? Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4? Yeah, you know.